Well, we'll get rid of his banner, shall we? And we'll try our best to do that. But welcome to the. This because you've been messing about with stuff, Steve. Anyway, it's the West Yorkshire. You have, Steve. You've been messing about with stuff. It's the West Yorkshire Football Show. It's the Town Talk. Terriers beat Posh. And next time, Steve, you, if you're not hosting, you just keep yourself waiting. Instead of messing, I'd set everything up and you come in and you change it all up and you make us look amateur. I don't know what you're playing at.
Thanks. I
Honestly,
make us look amateur.
Yeah, I'm blaming all on you. Good evening. I hope you're well, Steve. I hope our viewers and listeners are well too. Have you had a nice weekend, my friend?
Yeah, so I've been on holiday for a couple of weeks. I've now got.
We're going to come on to that. I'm going to ask for about the weekend first, and then the holidays.
The weekend's been fine, mate. Weekend's been cool beans. Good to see Town win yesterday. I unfortunately couldn't attend the game myself because I was working for the charity that I work for. They were having a pub hop, basically a pub crawl. I had to work it, so I had to watch people drink and have a good time. But apart from that, it was good.
I'm sure you had a few drinks at some point over the.
I was professional until the end. Yeah.
Until the end, and that's the important thing. And you had a lovely time away as well. We hadn't seen you for ages.
No, I have managed to keep tabs on Town and watch a few games, even though I've been abroad and stuff like that. But it's good to be back now, get back into the swing of things. But thank you very much for hosting the start of the season for me. Very much appreciated. You've done a fantastic job all throughout August. Not as good a job as me.
Yeah, obviously it's not as good as you, but I've tried my best once we've been on. Just want to say thank you for your comments that we've already got in. Make sure you keep the comments coming, likers, sharers, subscribers, all that stuff. You know what to do. Just going to put, hi guys, this is from Dirty A. Hi guys, last season we would have lost that match. It's great to see a new attitude and some fight. We're going to come on to these comments as well in this first game. Terrier 930 says, not a great first half yesterday. It got to start with Castledean and Alves on Saturday against Bradford, but another home win, lads. And Mark Harrison says, welcome back, Steve, and evening, Kaine. So thank you very much for your comments, gents. Just want to touch as well. It's been a couple of weeks since we've been on air, and I feel as if we've missed quite a few games. So let's just run over the last few fixtures. Obviously, disappointment against Blackpool. I think we spoke about that. We beat Doncaster 2-0 at home, also beating Stevenage 1-0 at home. Beat Sunderland away on penalties in the AFL Cup. Lost to Barnsley away 3-1. Beat Newcastle under 21s at 6-2 in the EFL Trophy and beat Peterborough 3-2. So we've got some comments coming in already. So thank you very much for them. But let's touch on a bit of recent form, Steve.
Yeah.
It's been a little bit arguably good and a very interesting defeat to Barnsley. And let's just touch on them because we don't want to spend too long going over things that's happened a couple of weeks ago. But I think it's important we touch up on it.
Yeah. So I managed to watch the game against Stevenage. Obviously, that was a good win. I was flying abroad while we were playing Doncaster, but that was nice to see that we won that after the debacle at Blackpool, and it was a debacle, let's be honest. So it was good to get back to winning ways, both home games. I was pleased that, the performances seemed to be all right from what I understand. Not stellar, but, we got the job done. Stevenage and Donny are two good sides in this division, as we're seeing at the moment in the table. The cup game against Sunderland was fantastic. I was flying back on the evening that we played Sunderland. Again, shame about the last goal at the end to take it to penalties, but the boys stepped up again and put the penalties away. So that was really great to see. It's good that we're having a bit of a League Cup run at the moment. Obviously, it's not the priority this season, but, Town have historically over the last, 15 years, done crap in the League Cup. We normally get knocked out by Shrewsbury in the first round or something like that. So, it's nice to have a cup run. The league form, obviously, is at home. We've done all right. I still don't think we've been stellar, and the team can go up another couple of gears, in my opinion. But the away form is a little bit of a worry, I'd say. The Barnsley game, just to touch on that, we got killed by Goodman. Let's be honest. Like the first goal is shocking. The sending off is absolutely mental. I mean, I have one lad who's a Town fan who sits a couple of seats behind me, saying, "Oh, I want a red card." Like literally, McGoldrick could have ended in hospital. Let's be honest. Like, how that isn't not a red card. You need to go have a look at it. Like, I was being called out for not knowing what football is because I said it was a red card. So, Shane, if you're watching, it was a red card. It still is a red card, and it always will be a red card. And even if it was a tackle in the 1970s, it would have been a red card. McGoldrick could have had his head kicked off. So, yeah, we got what we deserve, really, at Barnsley. I thought the goals were sloppy. We fought back. That was the only thing I would say compared to the last couple of seasons. The last couple of seasons with the Town team we'd have probably lost that 5-0 because they'd have just caved in. Where these lads, I think, have got a bit of mentality about them. We saw that against Blackpool, and we did see it against Barnsley. The third goal sort of killed us momentum for coming back. And it was a game that as soon as Goodman got sent off, you kind of knew that was that. Newcastle.
I think I'm just going to say, Steve, let's just hold it there because we don't really need to touch on anything else with it. It's more of a case of let's just gloss over. Terrier 930 put a comment in. It was horrible. It could have killed the lad. Look, yeah, we know it's a bad challenge. Game's been gone a couple of weeks now, but I think the important thing is it's about a bounce back sometimes. And Town have had 2 bounce backs, and let's not also forget that just because not just because Town have beaten a Premier League side on penalties. Penalties, but they drew the game. And they've been rewarded with a home tie against Manchester City in a couple of weeks' time. So that's fantastic news for the club and for the players as well, who absolutely deserve that opportunity to go and play against some of the world's best players. But Steve, 2 games to talk about.
Yeah.
As we've just glossed over a few, and that first one is, as you were just about to come on to it, that's why I kind of stopped you.
Yeah.
Because it was Huddersfield Town 6, Newcastle United under-21s 2. This is how the Huddersfield Town team lined up. It was Nichols in goal, Sorensen, Watmore, Wallace, and Ruan in a kind of a back 4. You had Vost, Gasumu, and Castledine in midfield with Harness, Ruskin, and Joe Taylor. Overall, what did we make of the game, Steve? Give us a quickly go overall, and we'll talk about the first half, then going into the second half.
Yeah, I was surprised at the lineup, really, it being the Fisherman Fens Crap Cup or whatever it's called, Virtue Trophy this day and age. So I was a bit surprised at how strong he went with the lineup. I expected maybe Ashier to be in there, Jace Way, some of the academy lads starting. To be honest, fair play to Lee Grant for doing it. I think the one thing everybody thought of, I don't know whether you thought this, was obviously with Goodman being sent off, was it a risk to play Lee Nichols if he'd got injured? I don't know how good the academy lads are for the keepers because we've not really seen them. Obviously, Chapman's injured at the moment, so it was never going to be him. So that was the only, I think, big surprise. It was a surprise lineup anyway, but I think the big risk that he took was Nichols, definitely.
Why was it a surprise lineup? Just because you thought as if there should have been more youth players in there, or?
I just think in previous years we've seen a lot more. Last year we saw a lot more of the youth lads in there, didn't we? And so, I was surprised at how strong it was. To play the likes of Watmore and Taylor and obviously, like I said, Nichols. It's quite an experienced lineup, wasn't it? Really,
it was. But Watmore had only been playing cup games since that Blackpool defeat. So for me, I'm certainly looking at it as that cup is one that Town should be looking to win, and I think that's what they are doing, and I think that says a lot with the lineup. I think Sorensen, him and Gooch are both fighting for that right back position, right wing backs position, and they're both looking very, very good. Joe Taylor could easily start most games. Harness does. Ruskin does. Castledean's showing himself a bit. I think it was right to potentially have the two changes in midfield of Vost and Kasumu getting some game time, because Kasumu were fantastic up at Sunderland. So I'm quite surprised to say that you think it's a surprise the way it lined up, but I'm certainly looking at it the case of Huddersfield Town want to go and win this, and this is them showing that.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I'm not saying it as a negative. I think it's a positive because it shows how strong the squad that we've got. And to be fair, Lee Grant's doing the right thing with lads like Kasumu who are not getting in the starting lineup for the league games, and he's going right. Well, here's your opportunity to show me what you can do. So I think it's a definite positive. It shows how strong a squad we've got, what the depth's like, and the depth is good. It also keeps the lads that are not getting in on a regular basis in the league games. It gives them minutes. So when inevitably we get injuries, because it's Huddersfield Town Football Club, that these lads are ready, sort of match fit, as it were, to come in and play. So I think it's a positive. I'm just a little bit surprised at how experienced the lineup was. And I know young Vost was in there, like you said, but, Jace Way wasn't starting and neither was Cam Asher. So obviously, and Alves, who we've brought in on loan, he didn't start either. Now, possibly you could say that, well, that wasn't a surprise because he'd only been in the building a couple of days. But that was my only thought process with it, really. But it certainly wasn't a negative. I was quite pleased to see that we're actually wanting to go out and win it because it's a trophy to be won.
I quite like to see that kind of lineup. And as you mentioned, Steve, it certainly looks a case that what we've seen from Huddersfield is it's a squad game this season. Very much a squad game, and they've got a good squad, and everyone can compete with each other. Okay, so it started with a Watmore goal. He got that one from the header. Harness getting a penalty. It was definitely a penalty, in my opinion. Obviously, the deflected goal for Neve, for Newcastle before Castledean as well, just putting that 2-goal lead between the two sides going into half time. What were your thoughts on half time? Were Town just too good in the air? Watmore just too good in the air for that first goal? The penalty was definitely a penalty, in my opinion. And despite the fact that Town conceded that deflected goal, they showed enough fight, so they just turned it back on again to get the third, right?
Yeah, I mean, the deflected goal, listen, I thought it was quite unlucky, to be honest, a bit like the Peterborough goal at the weekend, which we'll come on to talk about. So you can't really blame the goal that we conceded. I thought there was a lot of quality in the first half. Did I think we had enough pace about us? No. I thought we could have been played quicker with the ball. However, we didn't really need to, did we? Because the very, very young side, there's a lot of, I think, 16, 17-year-olds in that Newcastle team who, I think can be quite good players, by the way. I don't see why they can't go on to have decent careers, might not play for Newcastle, but, technically they looked all right. But, yeah, I think Town kind of took it seriously, which was good to see. That's less chance of getting injured as well. So, yeah, the first half was I thought, really good, to be honest. I had no complaints. Nice to see Watmore get on the score sheet. Thought he was great again. There's only the Blackpool game, but you can pick out where he hasn't been good. So I was happy with the first half game, to be honest. I knew that we could step it up, and I think we did that in the first 10 minutes of the second half. But, yeah, first half was good.
Funnily enough, as half-time was coming to a close, and the fourth official put the board up for added time, I decided that would be a good time to go and start making me tea for the evening. And on my watch, it popped up that Newcastle had scored. So I had to come back in to see the goal. And by the time I started to walk back out to go continue making me tea, Town had scored. So, it was definitely an interesting end to the half. Second half went Joe Taylor grabbing a brace. We've also, Joe Taylor got 2 and then the own goal. And then Town probably let themselves down a little bit, maybe with it conceding that second. How did you see the second half, Steve?
Yeah, the biggest thing for me in the second half was Taylor getting his 2 goals to make it an hat-trick. I think that's really good for the lad. It doesn't matter what game you're playing, whenever you score an hat-trick, it deserves to be celebrated. And was it his third goal where he sort of like dropped the shoulder, dribbled through the box and put it away? Well, I think it was his third goal. That was a really good finish. So yeah, I was really happy for that. Yeah, let ourselves down in the last sort of 10 minutes, 5 minutes or whatever it were. We knew we
For me, Steve, right? So in terms of letting cells down, it's probably more just and you're looking at the way Newcastle scored the goal. They've gone down the right-hand side. From what I'm trying to say is, I feel as if it could have been defended a little bit better. Kasuma's worked really hard. Jasaway kind of just left his man a little bit open for that for their second goal, so it could have been dealt with. And as you mentioned about Joe Taylor, obviously the first goal, it gets passed to him, and he's just outside the box. That's fine. But as you mentioned, the second goal, I thought this was really, really important because, as we've seen, and all football fans will see in all kind of games, if you got a striker who just wants to score, who's probably maybe lacking a little bit of confidence, they snatch at shots. They probably take them a little bit too early. But I think he got the confidence from the first goal, and as you mentioned, just decided to take that extra touch, go around his man, and then put the ball in the back of the net. I felt that was a really confident finish from a man who's trying to play his part and get himself back into the team. And because of the performance on Tuesday, he ended up being in the side at the weekend and fully deserved. Don't touch on Peterborough yet, but definitely a fully deserved performance from Joe Taylor.
Yeah, absolutely, and I agree with you 100% that third goal showed confidence, and he's definitely a player that plays on confidence. I think you can tell in his body language he's got that bit of a thing that strikers have to have. All the best strikers have him, a bit of arrogance, a bit of, I'm the man kind of attitude, and that's great to see. He won't be happy that he's not playing every game because I think he came to Huddersfield in January thinking, I'm going to have to be the man here. I'm the number 9, and then obviously we've gone on to buy Alfie May. So it's quite an interesting battle there to see who's going to play the most games over the course of the season. The only thing that I would touch on at the end, and this is the reason I kind of don't like this cup, is that the Newcastle lads looked absolutely demoralised at the end. They knew they'd probably let themselves down in a way. When the lad scored the own goal, you could just see the confidence drain out of his body, and I don't know if it's a good. It's not a good thing for me with young lads. It's all right. It's game time, and they're playing against blokes, and kind of that is a good side to it. But when you're getting smashed 6-2 by League One Huddersfield Town, I can see why that is definitely a demoralising aspect of this tournament for sure.
Yeah, it was Robbie Stockdale's second day in the job as well, so not exactly easy for the new under-21s manager at Newcastle. No. But yeah, it was definitely men against boys in that performance on Tuesday night. But they are put themselves up good. That's 3 points in the little group that they've got. Up next is Mansfield and Harrogate Town in that league little phase group. So hopefully Town can continue doing well in that one, and will get themselves a little bit step closer towards Wembley. Mark, you've put 2 comments in. I'm going to show one of them now. I'm going to come back to one a little bit later on. So Mike Harrison says, the depth of the squad is a massive factor in the success we have had so far this season. Players know they have to perform or they're being at risk of being rotated. Okay, so coming on to that, Huddersfield Town versus Peterborough yesterday. And this is how Town started. Nichols was in goal. Sorensen right back, Watmore, Lowe and Rowan in defence. Ledson and Kaine came back into midfield. Harness, Wells, Ruskin and Taylor started the game. So as we mentioned, Joe Taylor keeping his spot. And Sorensen as well, who Sorensen had a fantastic game against Newcastle. And equally had certainly for the majority yesterday, the second half where everybody was good, but had a decent game yesterday as well. So again, Steve, thoughts on the lineup in the first half, please.
Yeah, I mean Sorensen, you've got to give him credit there because I think Gooch, ever since he's come in, I've been really impressed. We've had Cal and Zach on the podcast before where they've kind of picked maybe a little bit at Gooch. But But I think overall Gooch has been really good. He's one of my favourite Town players already, to be honest. But I think Sorensen, credit to him, credit's where it's worth. He's played really well in the last 2 games and deserved to keep his spot. He's obviously got a thing about playing Ruskin every game. And I don't know whether that's warranted, because I don't think he was the best yesterday, again, from what I've heard and sort of spoke to people about. But everybody else, I mean, yeah, Joe Lowe, obviously he comes back in for league games. Ledson and Kaine, I mean, I'm not Kane's biggest fan, but played all right yesterday, played well, obviously got a great goal, which we'll come on to. So I was happy with the lineup. I think people have got this bee in the bonnet about him rotating a bit too much, and maybe that creates inconsistency, which I do kind of understand that point. You know, you want to get lads to play together to create those connections, but I don't think there's as much changes as what people are maybe making out that there is.
I think you've also got to look at it a point of view as if, because Town have got such a great squad at the moment, if anyone's got a bit of a knock or is feeling anything, there's just no point in the risk. There is absolutely no point in the risk. And Lee Grant said this in his press conference yesterday. So Watmore had to come off at half-time because he felt just a little bit of something in his calf. And it wasn't too serious, but why continue to risk him when you got Wallace on the bench? So I think this is a very positive thing. Potential that maybe last season players were risked a little bit more than they needed to be, and now that's not the case. And also, I thought in the first half, Watmore was an outstanding performer in a very probably slow first half for both.
Yeah, it wasn't a good quality first half. Town had 1 shot on target, and that was from Arness, and I think that was on the 35th minute or whatever it was. And even then, it was kind of an easy shave for the keeper. I would say that's the one quality thing about this season, that you know that everybody has to perform, because otherwise they're not going to be in the squad. The one position that I think isn't that under threat, though, is, like I said, Ruben Ruskin.
Right,
I think if Miller were fit, there'd be more competition for his players, but I don't see that competition there at the moment.
Okay, so Terrier 930 says, thought Joe Taylor had a cracking game yesterday, but never stopped running. Not convinced by Ruskin at the moment. So is that something you agree with then, Steve?
Yeah, I think he's a quality player, and I think he can put crosses in, and I don't know whether physically he's got the ability for the English game. I think sometimes he gets knocked off the ball a little bit too easy. Sometimes he tries things and they don't come off. But he's just a bit inconsistent for me on that left-hand side at the moment. If Miller was fit, and that's the problem with Miller, that he's never, well, I won't say he's never, but, in the last 2 seasons since we've signed him, he's got bad injuries. So, but I think if Miller was fit, he'd be playing instead of Ruskin. Now, people have said move Ruskin back to left back, but I think Rowan's playing too well at left back. Apparently, he didn't have the best game yesterday. I didn't watch the whole game, but I think he's too good of a footballer to not be included in the squad. So you've got to play Ruskin at left wing position, and we haven't really got another left wing in. I mean, Alves has come in now. It'd be interesting to see whether he challenges Ruskin for that left wing position. I think that could be an interesting battle, because he started quite well.
Yeah, you've got Alves and Redmond as well, who was coming, which we are going to touch on at some point in the very near future of this podcast, as in, i.e., this episode, in probably about 5 to 10 minutes' time. So the second half, this is when it all happened. We kind of all waited for something to happen in the first half. Didn't quite happen that way. I thought in the first half, potentially Town could have just upped the tempo a little bit. Something Lee Grant said after the game as well. But I think Peterborough would have been very happy with the way they've performed so far this season. Going in goalless at halftime, they'd have been extremely happy. And then to come out and get a free kick after 47, which put them in front. Now, Steve, you'll have watched it back. I didn't think that was a free kick or a yellow card to Herbie Kaine for the foul given away on the edge of the area for Peterborough's first goal.
not a yellow card. It's a soft free kick, but I understand why the referee gave it. Herbie Gaines not giving the referee much of a decision to make there. But it is soft. Like in my day, I say in my day, like I'm old, but like watching like the Premier League like 20 years ago, that's not a free kick, is it? Do you know what I mean? But it is now, isn't it? So, yeah, it wasn't a yellow. Like that's nonsense. There's loads of yellows being given this season that I've just thought, what you're looking at there, to be honest. But that's the state of English officiating, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought the referee in the second half had a very, very inconsistent game. First half, he was decent. Second half, he made some interesting calls either way. But the goal itself, you can't do much about it, whether the free kick was going on target or not, but it comes off a backside and goes in the back of the net, wrong foot's the goalkeeper. It happens. You can't really do much about it sometimes.
No, you can't do anything about that. And as Lee Grant said after the game, I think he was a bit frustrated that yet another deflected goal has gone in against us off somebody's backside. There's nothing Lee Nichols could have done. I think from what the angle of a free kick, where it's going, I think Lee Nichols saves it or it just goes wide. Because it won't. I don't think it was a great free kick, let's be honest. But it went in and it gave them the impetus then, didn't it? You know, that's the one thing that I would say from the first half, because it was slow, it was monotonous, it was kind of side to side. And again, not this, you know, what we want is for us to get on the front foot, be quick, play forward. And it wasn't that. And then Peterborough came out and got the first goal. It sort of gave them a bit of a, actually, well, we're bottom of the table and we are absolutely crap and we've only scored 2 goals all season, one, I think, being a penalty. We've actually 1-0 up now. You know, it gave them something to play for, didn't it? Yeah,
it certainly did. Look, this is what Mark Harrison says. We've been a second half team in most of the games this season. Is that a mindset problem or a tactical one?
It's more. I think it's more mindset. I mean, listen, the first 5 minutes of every game, you're working out your opposition anyway. It's very rare that goals going in the first 5 minutes. And I think that's always the kind of case where you figure out your opposition. But then after that, going into like between the 10 and 25 minute mark, then you should be starting to ramp it up. And Town didn't, and we have had a problem with that this season, in my opinion. Yeah. So it's
okay. So then there were some changes made, Steve, after 56 minutes. Castledine and Alves come on for Ben Wiles and Ruben Ruskin. And then on his first touch and his home league debut, Alves scores. And it was a lovely cross by Sorensen. And I think Peterborough just started to try and slow things down a little bit, or as much as they could. And a bit of brilliance by Sorensen on the right-hand side has set up Alves' first goal for the club.
That goal epitomises what we signed Sorensen for. That's what he did for Lincoln for 12 or 18 months. And we haven't seen it yet. And yet that epitomises everything that we signed him for. You know, going past his man, using a bit of pace and getting a quality cross in there. And Alves comes in, sticks it in, and it's fantastic to see. And got us back then in the game and revved the Town engine up. You know, you could see what I loved about the goal as well. Everybody's watching Alves celebrate. But just watch Lasse Sorensen as he like jumps in the air as Alves scores. Like that goal meant as much to him as it did to everybody else in the stadium, because he knew that he'd done a bit of quality to not just get the crossing, but get past his man. So well done on Lasse as well. Deserved to celebrate as he did.
It looks like a player who's growing in confidence as well at the moment, is Sorensen, and well deserved. Like I think we mentioned it a few weeks ago on the podcast, that is probably someone who just needs to have little goals, get an arm around him, build that confidence, and we feel as if we're starting to see a really good player in there, a player that the Town fans wanted to see when he was first bought.
100%. There's no way that any Town fan wants Lasse Sorensen to fail. We all want him to succeed because we know that he can be a quality player. He showed it at the beginning of last season. And then for some unexpected reason, after his injury, it just never happened again for him. So I think, like you say, it's a bit of a building his confidence, setting these little goals, right? You've got 1 assist. Can you go get another one now? Can you go beat a man that's in a better team? You know, little goals like that. And I get the feeling Lee Grant's probably good at doing that.
It does seem that way. And then Herbie Kaine. Why not shoot? If you don't shoot, you don't score. And Town had a little bit of luck. Peterborough had it earlier on with their goal with a bit of a deflection. This one, not so much. Only 2 slight ones. It just took it away from the goalkeeper. And Herbie Kaine with a fantastic goal for his first one this season.
Yep. We said it for the last 3 fixtures, 4 fixtures, that Town don't shoot. When they shoot, we score. So if everybody can just relate to Herbie Kane's shot there in the Town squad, that'd be fine. I'm not saying Lee Nichols do it. Lee, you don't do it. We don't need you doing it. And we don't need necessarily David Kasumu doing it either. But everybody else is fair game, I'd say. So, yeah, it was a great goal.
Kasumu became a goal-scoring midfielder last season, at the beginning of last year. Did really well goal-scoring.
I know, but
he had a few shots.
He had a few shots at the start of the season, and they nearly hit the top of the cowshed. So, but yeah, it's a great goal for Herbie. I think he's had a bit of an interesting time since he's come to the club. Some people are fans of him, some people aren't. He's a bit of a 50-50 type player. I think sometimes he can show it, and sometimes, unfortunately, he doesn't. But that's very much like Ben Wiles as well. But yeah, great to see that he scored yesterday and got us into the ascendancy. And I thought then Peterborough kind of crapped themselves from that way onwards, really, because they thought, oh God, here we go again.
Yeah, I've got a couple of comments to come up, and we're going to come up with them just once we finish speaking about this last goal and Joe Taylor from Mark and Terry at 9:30. As we mentioned, sometimes when you look's in, it's in. When you look's out, it's out. And Joe Taylor's luck, yeah, it was an indifferent one of chances because he had one in the first half where he was closing down the goalkeeper, and I generally thought that Bass had made a bit of a mistake here. I thought that Bass was going to go home and have nightmares of Joe Taylor bearing down on him. He just couldn't get the ball out of his feet. We were on the edge of the area. It would have been an open goal. Just couldn't quite make it. And then in the second half, he beats the defender for pace, gets into the opposition half, closes down Bass again, gets to the byline, goes round his man. You think Joe Taylor's going to get his goal for the hard work that he's done. And it hits the post. And it was quite comical in a way because everyone was like, we can't believe this has just happened. He's worked so hard and we all want him to score. He deserves it. And it was just typical that it hit the post. But finally, Joe Taylor got his moment. It's a fantastic ball from Alfie May. His first touch is good on the edge of the area. But what's so important, what Joe Taylor does on towards the second touch, is he puts his body in the way of the defender, not allowing the defender to get near the ball, and beautifully outside of the boot through the goalkeeper's legs, making it Town 3, Peterborough 1. And Joe Taylor really deserved that goal.
He absolutely did. But for the first one, where in the second half, where he went down, the goalkeeper hit it against him. Why did he cut back in? Like, he's already got there. Why the goal's there? He should have just slotted it away because the lad who's sliding back in wouldn't have got to the ball. So I don't understand why he cut back in and then hit the post. Excuse me. Anyway,
excuse you, Steve.
But yeah, after that, obviously he got his goal. Again, it speaks to the confidence, doesn't it? And we said that with the touch against the Newcastle on the 21s. You know, when he took that touch and he put it in, I think there was an air of, again, arrogance. I'm the man. I can stick this ball away. All right, I've missed one. Made a bit of a fool of myself on the first one, but I'm going to keep trying. And he puts the ball in the back of the net. And at the end of the day, that's all we ask our Town strikers to do.
And he certainly did. And I think something as well, which Lee Grant likes to mention quite a fair bit in his press conferences afterwards, he doesn't look at his attackers on goal scoring, but looks at them on their performance. And I think, yes, okay, Joe Taylor scored 3 in the last 2, but the work ethic and the performances that he's put in have been second to none.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree with that. And I also would agree that Alpha May's done that as well. So he obviously wants his centre forwards to work hard. It's probably not, it's more Alfie Games than it is Joe Taylor's, let's be honest. But Joe's doing well at doing that side of the game. Even probably if he don't want to do it, he's doing what his manager is asking him to do. And again, that shows that he's bought into the plan. He's bought into the ideas that the manager's trying to get across. So, but that's credit to him again.
Yeah, he's certainly showing some speed as well, is Joe Taylor at the moment. Mark says Castledine looks to have a bit of class about him. Hopefully he will show this consistently. I think he deserves a start on Saturday. But we need to be quicker out the blocks. It says Terrier at 9:30 next Saturday against the Chickens. Can't afford a slow first half of football. And Michael Botman says, evening, Stephen and Kaine. I hope you're both well. Thank you very much, Michael, for asking. We're both pretty well. So, Steve, you wanted to touch on the transfers, okay? So let's do that. We've got 14 transfers that came in, but we don't want to be looking at this one too long.
No.
What I will mention, one of the transfers that we've had recently is actually for the under-21s. Ellis Liverhead, Liverland, we'll get there. Signed for the club on Friday and was on the bench on Saturday. So what an interesting couple of days it had been for him. So here we go. These are the players that Huddersfield Town have brought in over the summer transfer window. Let's just make sure we get them all right. So we've got Murray Wallace, Ryan Ledson, Marcus Harness, Joe Lowe, Sean Ruan, Josh Feeney, Owen Goodman, Jack Watmore, Lyndon Gooch, Alfie May, Marcus McGuire, Leo Castledine, Will Alves, and Zepiquino Redmond. I don't think I've missed anyone, have I?
No, that's it.
That is it. So tell us what you wanted to talk about with these transfers. What do you wanted to do a bit of a review? Are you happy with the market that Town have been delving into?
Yes, very happy. I think the 14 signings that we brought in are better than the 12 players that have gone out. You could argue against maybe one or two. I personally don't think you can. Going into the final day, it was kind of said by Lee Grant that every time he got asked by Catherine Anna, are we doing any more business? He went, no. And I think most supporters thought we need a bit more of a winger and maybe a bigger centre forward. The point was put across, well, you've got Ladapo and Radulovic. They haven't really played. Don't know what they're doing in training. Well, Ladapo might as well be walking around Tesco again. Somebody might scout him again this time. But Radulovic has obviously made one appearance. I think that was in the Cup.
Two now.
No, 2 appearances, yeah. Both in the League Cup, I think. But he's obviously not fancied by Grant. So I think Alves was bringing Alves in was an obvious one because I think everybody kind of said that we needed that. But the Redmond one is more interesting because obviously he's come from Feyenoord, signed from Aston Villa this season. And then we've got him on loan. So, I mean, you look at the highlights, all highlights packages make players look good. But from what you read about him, the way that he plays, he drops deep, he can interlink with the midfield well, he can play all across the front line. So he's definitely an interesting option to have up there. He's probably not the biggest of strikers. I mean, he's 6 foot, but he's bigger than Taylor and May. So it'll be interesting to see how Grant sort of utilises him. And I just think that although Grant said that we weren't bringing any more in, it does show that the recruitment team and Grant and people behind the scenes are alive to opportunities that we might have wanted to do. So I think it's one of the best transfer windows that we've had for a long time. Now, I did say that last season I thought was decent. This season's a lot better. And I think Kevin's gone and made sure that, he's put basically the statement out there that we want to go up this season, hasn't he? I think that's quite clear to see.
Yeah, certainly the club doing everything they can to do that. and certainly doing it the right way, backing the manager, getting the players in. What's your comments, viewers? Let us know who's your favourite signing so far. Who do you think is going to improve?
To answer that, I would say Lyndon Gooch is my favourite.
So Lyndon Gooch is your favourite, Steve. Well, viewers, who is your favourite at the moment? And who do you think is going to play the biggest part of this season from these new signings from the summer? Steve, who do you reckon? And viewers, get yours in as well.
I think Joe Lowe and Jack Watmore are becoming very influential at the back. I think you could pick out any of the back line, really, but particularly Watmore and Joe Lowe, because we've talked about the defence for a number of years now, and now it's not good enough, it's too slow. I mean, you might say, well, these lads that we brought in out any quicker, but they look a lot more solid than the ones that we let go, and they look a lot better footballers than the ones that we let go as well. And that's no slant to Tom Lees and Matty Pearson, but there is a reason why they've gone to play for Doncaster and Peterborough, who are bottom of the table respectively.
Doncaster are a little bit higher up the table, though.
They are at the moment, but that doesn't mean to say that they will be at the end of the season.
I know
you've got him on your wall, and you know what I mean. But
I do think the new defence is a lot faster. Actually, I believe the players at Town Let Go are good footballers, but the ones that have come in are equally, or if not better. Joe Lowe is clearly keeping his place in that team during the league. He's going to be a hard man to replace down there. But I think if Joe Lowe was to not play, Josh Feeney, Watmore could easily do that fantastic job that he's been doing. Terrier 930 says, I'll get that up first. Gooch's class. I also think Alfie May will play a big part this season. And Mark Harrison says Joe Lowe will be very important in the back. Gooch for his experience and versatility. Castledine for creativity. And I think we are saying that creativity and the goals from Castledine didn't quite get the goals last year or assists last year at Shrewsbury, but clearly showed enough quality to show and get a move to Huddersfield Town this season. Okay, next up.
I was just going to say he's better than what I expected, Castledine. I don't know what I expected, but Castledine is better than what I expected.
Well, that is a positive. Up next for the Terriers are the Chickens. I love calling them the Chickens. I think most of the fans call them the Chickens as well. But it's the Bantams. Yeah, it's the Bantams. It is Bradford City away this weekend. It is a 12:30 kickoff, and it is a West Yorkshire derby, one that we've not had for a while. And I tell you what, Town fans have sold out their away allocation. It wouldn't surprise me if Bradford City sell out their home allocation. It is going to be absolutely rocking at Valley Parade this weekend, and I cannot wait.
I'm going.
Are you going, Steve?
I've got a ticket. I've got it. I feel like Charlie in the Willy Wonka chocolate factory. I've got a ticket to go. Golden ticket. They sold out in days, didn't they? So it was the one game I think all Town fans were looking at and thinking, right, we haven't played these since 2013 in the Cup. I think somebody could put me right on that, but it's definitely over 10 years since we've played them. It's even longer in the league. And so, yeah, it's going to be exciting, isn't it? Town Bradford games are always a bit tasty from what I know from back in the early 2000s and late 90s. So bring it on. I know that we should be absolutely terrified that they've got 18,000 fans in their home stadium, and we can't possibly compete with that. But yeah, it's going to be rocking. They're on a bit of a high out there. They've done quite well actually.
Yeah, Rivethead says, "I'll give you a kiss and a cuddle for your ticket, Steve." There's a lot of people wanting a ticket. There's a lot of people wanting a ticket now.
Do you know what? I'll sell it to you for 40 grand. You want it now?
40 grand. Wow. So I was at the Bradford City Luton Town game a couple of weeks ago. I was covering that one on commentary, and Bradford City are looking good. Bradford City are looking very good. They were in the faces of Luton. They didn't allow them out. They didn't give them the time and the space. They play with a three at the back and two up front, which is mainly Humphreys up front. He wins most things. The battle between him and Joe Lowe at the weekend is going to be a very, very good one. Northville, he plays on the right wing back. Had a fantastic game last time out as well. And you got Torre, so the two wing backs are very influential. And Max Power runs things in the middle of the park. So Bradford are no slouches. They are no slouches. They've got a lot of positivity, a lot of confidence after coming up last year, and their home form was absolutely brilliant. And I think that is going to be their key factor this season. You know, Bradford are probably looking to consolidate themselves, see how high they can get up in the league this year. But the way they've started, they're going to be looking towards the playoffs because at the moment they're playing very well. The first defeat so far this season was in the league was to Doncaster yesterday. They lost 3-1. But they're not going to take a knock from that because Doncaster are playing well themselves. I think this could be a really tight game. And look, don't get me wrong, back Huddersfield to win, of course. But there's going to be a lot of Town fans that are just going to go, oh, well, it's Bradford, we'll beat them. They're a good side. They are a good side.
Yeah, this might be the toughest test we've had this season so far, I would say. I think, home form, the Meadow, the Valley Parade, very hard to go to. Cook's back for him, which is he's like a god at Bradford, isn't he? They all just love him.
He didn't play for 244 days. He came back off the bench against Grimsby during the week and scored 2 and won the game for them.
Yeah, I mean, so him being back and being up front with Humphreys is very dangerous because Cook is fantastic at holding the ball up, bringing other people into play, and Humphreys loves to break the lines and has got a bit of speed about him. We saw that when we played Barnsley last year. So it's going to be a very, very tough game. We can't start slow because Bradford come out of the traps flying. We have Gaz, obviously, on the Monday shows, who's a City fan. And he just says that they go and eat teams for breakfast in the first 10 minutes. They really fly out of the traps. So we've got to be ready for that. It's going to be iron hot sort of energy from the beginning. And Alexander will say, look, lads, you've got no to lose. Go and beat the big spenders that are Huddersfield Town Football Club in this league. And they'll play on everything that they can, Bradford, to win this game at the weekend.
I think most teams do that, though, at the moment against Huddersfield Town. And by the way, viewers, get your predictions in for this weekend, and we can go through them before I ask Steve what his predictions are. Steve, I think most clubs are doing that at the moment. I mean, you look at the Peterborough at the weekend, bottom of the league, up to Huddersfield Town, nice stadium, spent money on players, 0-0 at half time. They're licking the lips going, I tell you what, this is a great result. They go 1-0 up after 47. They're going, oh, we'll just slow everything down because even if we draw, it's a positive result. So I think a lot of teams will do that. And as Mark Harrison says, our last 2 away games in the league have been eye-opening. Hope we've learned our lesson from them.
But it'll mean even more to Bradford. That's the thing with this game. They will be so up for it. There's loads of Bradford fans that have contacted me over the last sort of like 2-3 days. We're coming for you. We're gonna beat you. We're gonna absolutely destroy you at Valley Parade. And luckily enough, because I've been away, I've sort of ignored them all. But it's not a game that I want to see on Saturday and see us. I don't want to walk away from Valley Parade a defeated man on Saturday. So the players better turn up and Grant better get his backside into gear and we better win this game because I won't hear the end of it for another 6 months until we play them at the Aku Stadium.
Yeah, it's bragging rights are on the line here for both sides, and we'll see.
And the mad thing is, I don't even hate Bradford. I hate Leeds. I don't even hate Bradford. I quite like City. I want City to do well. I think they're a big football club. They're, decent. Majority of them are a decent fan base. They're not too big above themselves because they've played at League 2 level. So, and I used to play for Bradford City's disability football team. So, I've got a lot of respect for Bradford and the team and the club, and I think it's a decent club. So, yeah, it's definitely a one-way thing this weekend, I think.
So, you want them to do well, just not this weekend.
No, not this weekend.
Terry 930 said couldn't get a ticket, so it's Merry England and then down to H-Bar to watch it. Thankfully, I will be there. I will be commentating on it. So I'm looking forward to that one. Mark Aronson says Bradford 1, Town 2. And Terrier 930 says he reckons it's going to be 2-2 score draw, which means, Steve, it is your time to give us your prediction for this weekend.
I think it'll be another high-scoring game. I think it'll be 3-2 to Town.
3-2 to Town.
It's not going to be a boring 0-0, is it? I don't think it can be after 10 years of not playing him, at least in any competition. Probably, 20 years of playing him not in the league. I mean, yeah, it's not going to be a 0-0 game this side. I can't see it being a 0-0 game. The one thing this weekend that Town play, I don't care about quality this weekend. I ain't bothered. We don't need to play pretty football. Let's go and do that against flipping Leyton Orient away or whatever. We don't need to play pretty football. We just need to win the game. If it comes off Joe Lowe's backside to go in to win it, I couldn't give a crap.
I feel like you're saying this with a lot of desperation. It sounds.
No,
it sounds like you are desperate. You sound like you're desperate just to win this game.
No, there's no desperation, but it's not. It's a derby game. You don't get quality football in derby games. You don't even get quality football at Premier League level in derby games. So, what's the point in going into it thinking, "Oh, we're gonna absolutely waltz around them like Barcelona"? And play all this nice little passing game and cut through and make diagonal runs. It ain't going to happen. So get the ball in the box, get Jolo's big head on it, and go and win the game. That's all I'm bothered about. There's no desperation. I'm just very realistic to the fact that we aren't going to see pretty football. So when we come on the podcast next week and we've won the game, and you could say, well, it was a win, but the performance wasn't great. I'm going to say, I didn't give a crap about the performance, but we won the game.
So as long as Huddersfield Town win next weekend, it doesn't matter what happened about the performance.
What do you want? What do you think's more important? I know you're presenting it, but what do you think's more important? Do you think a win's more important or pretty football?
Absolutely, yeah. I think against your rivals, you've got bragging rights. Go and win the game. Go and win the game. It means more to the fans a game like this to go and win it. Performances, people aren't bothered, but bragging rights to be able to go to work on the Monday, if you work with a Bradford City fan, to go, how did Chickens do this weekend? Just to be able to do that. In fact, you don't even need to say anything. If you know you support each other team, all you need to do is look at each other and one of you will smile, and that's it. That's bragging rights for the next however months it is. Yeah. That's all it needs. So you're absolutely right. I agree with you, Steve. It's just about getting the win. Doesn't matter which way it comes when it's bragging rights. Any other game, I want to see a nice performance. But bragging rights, when it comes to West Yorkshire derbies, you want them to win. Michael says 4-2 to Town. Wow, that could be an interesting one. We'll see how it pans out. But Steve, thank you very much for joining us this evening, this Sunday evening on the West Yorkshire Football Show. It's been a Talk Town special. Terriers beat Posh, and Steve is dying to beat the Chickens next weekend, where he's got his golden ticket. He's going to be there. We're all hoping for a Huddersfield Town victory. So thank you very much for tuning in. Thanks for your comments. I appreciate it as always. Make sure you do like, share, subscribe, whatever you need to do. Just make sure you watch us back next weekend when we're on it again, when hopefully we'll be talking about a Town victory at Valley Parade. But until then, Steve, have a lovely week, my friend, and all our viewers as well. Have a wonderful week, and we'll speak to you, and we'll see you next time. We'll see you soon. Cheers, guys. Goodbye.